Hey guys, it's Rhysicus here, coming at you with a brand new ball-bouncingly exciting episode of the Angry Welsh Railworks tutorial. In this Railworks tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make lakes and seas. Now, it's not as hard as it seems, so if I'm going to start off making some form of a lake, so one of the ways you can start is you've just got your flat scenery here. You select this button here, which is the fifth button along from the left. Now this, I can't remember the name of the tool, but basically it allows you to automatically generate an area of terrain at a specified height. So all your default terrain when you start a route is set at 0. So what you need to do, using this option at the bottom on the bottom left, say I want some terrain that's at 50 meters of altitude, you can just click it and it will create it, and it makes making mountains a hell of a lot easier. So that's just an example, but it also works the other way. If you put -50, buff, it goes down the other way. So you can actually go from making mountains and stuff using this tool to making what would eventually be quarries, lakes, sea, whatever you want to make. So I'm going to make a bit of a lake here, which is 50 meters deep. Now, let's have a look. We've got our lake. This is very rough sort of lake, so it's not perfect. It's not going to be... We're not going to win any route building awards for any of the stuff we do in these tutorials, so, you know. You need to choose a sort of thing to go in the bottom. Now you can either choose mud or wet soil, or rocks, gravel. That doesn't look so good. Rock. That doesn't really look so good either. That doesn't look any better. Pebbles. No, that's alright. We'll put pebbles in the bottom of our lake. To be honest, a lot of the default scenery or terrain things need updating because they're just very old. And all the DLC that you get nowadays tends to have brand new things in it, but you can't use them because Railworks sucks. They won't let you load them up. So until we find a way to do that, we just have to stick with the scenic scatter that we already have. One day they may decide to update the scenic scatters, and I hope they do, because the amount of ones that they have at the moment is pretty poor. And I mean, you can just tell, you look at them and you can just tell these little squares. There's just loads and loads of little squares and they just look really naff. But hey, you know, you're not supposed to have them in this density. And plus it's going to be underwater anyway, so meh. Right, so we got our lake. Go to your asset block. Or you don't even have to use the asset block. You can just go down to the bottom and there's two types of water. Water lake reflective and water pond non-reflective. So you've selected the decal, the water decal. And you can adjust it in one of two ways. You can either double click and select the size itself, 100, 1000 maybe, by 1000. Actually, that's come out a lot bigger than I thought it would be, so you can adjust it to suit the lake. Let's put that in there. There. Like that. So what you need to do is click it and just drag it down, and it goes under the terrain and it sits under, and that's your lake. That's pretty much it when it comes to lakes. You see, you can either adjust the size of the lake yourself with the little arrows, or you can select the size automatically and it will render it for you. Now the good thing about lakes is that once it's in and you put it in, you see this black outline of the decal. That means there's water underneath there. So the water extends right to the outer edge of these black lines. So if you wanted to adjust the lake, go back to your terrain editor and you can start playing around with the sides to adjust it. Obviously you will have to add more of the pebble stuff that we had just now. But you can sort of make little beaches or docks or waterways, like a little river going up there, or a little inlet, sort of bay thing. and you put your own boats and harbour and stuff. You don't have to use pebbles if we want to let's put some sand in. If we have any sand. There we go, we have sand. So on this side we have sand. Isn't that amazing? Now you don't have to use one type of sand, you can just put one type of sand there, and then in the water you can put another type of sand, so it looks a bit wetter, because sand on the actual beach always looks wetter than sand elsewhere. What's sand free? Yeah, sand free can be the top of the beach, where the grass is growing into it. So it's just, you know, I keep saying this, but have a little play around to get experience. That's how I've learned how to use Railworks, is just playing with it. And it's just a case of getting some experience and learning the tools yourself. But I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial, and that is pretty much it when it comes to sea and lakes. But obviously if you're making sea, then you would want your lake to be much bigger, so you could select your size to be like 5,000 by 5,000, and that would just be huge, and then it would go under the terrain, and it would just extend out to the where your eyes can't see it anymore. And that's about it as in terms of lakes and seas. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I hope you make your own routes soon. Thanks for watching.